At this point, I'm going to pass it over to Megan Braverman to talk about admissions. Megan.
Hello, everyone. I hope that you can hear me. I've gotten a couple questions that audio is not connecting, and I also had that same issue. So if you can't hear, please do let me know in the question box so that I can try to figure that out for you. So my name is Megan Braverman. I may have missed the introduction, but thank you, Beth, for getting us started. My role here with the Fung Institute in the Master of Engineering program is the Student Services and Admissions Advisor. So I predominantly am working with our prospective students right now, and then when you get on campus, I'm your advisor too. I see in our attendee list some people that I've talked to before, so it's really great to see your name, and thank you for joining us. We can jump into a bit of a discussion on admissions. Beth, you want to go to the next slide? Thanks. So likely you're looking at different programs right now and trying to determine, what master's degree or what graduate degree is going to be best for me. So with the MEng program, as Beth covered, we do support all 7 of the departments here on the Berkeley campus. So I'll go over the application a little bit for you so that you can keep track of those details. A big question that I get, of course, is scholarships and money and funding. So we'll take a look at that too. And then, of course, the application requirements. So right now, the application is closed. We are still doing decisions for our upcoming cohort, which maybe some of you have already applied to. If you are looking at applying in the future, really quickly, our application opens always in early September and then would close in early January for a March decision. So on the next slide, we'll go over a little bit more about what the actual application looks like. So here's a summary of our application. There are a few different parts and some that might be different from some of the other graduate applications, that you may have seen. So first and foremost, which is really important for us, is going to be your resume. We are a professional program, and as Beth covered, we really are taking technical skills and combining them with this leadership coursework that's going to prepare our students for, careers in industry. So we want to see who you are. What have you done before? What experiences do you have that have led you to the Master of Engineering degree? So that's why we ask for your resume. Feel free to include any work experience, research experience, anything that can really help us get to know you a little bit more as a candidate. Next, of course, our transcripts. We do have the requirement that if you're applying to the Master of Engineering degree, you do have to have an undergraduate degree as well. So we are going to need transcripts from all of the institutions that you have attended or are attending. If you're a senior in your undergrad right now, it's okay to submit those unofficial transcripts. On the GPA side, a big question that, of course, I'm going to get is, what are your averages? What are you looking for in your applicants? We do have a minimum GPA of 3.0, so that's on the 4.0 scale. If you are applying to the Master of Engineering program, you do have to have above a 3.0 to be considered for admission. On average, our Master of Engineering cohort currently has about a 3.7, again on a 4.0 scale. That, of course, fluctuates a little bit, but on average, our students are at 3.7. Another really important part of our application is going to be your letters of recommendation. We do require that there are 3 letters submitted with your application. And these are so important to us because they're really a third-party testimonial, so to say, about your experiences and your abilities. What your recommenders get to do for you is really help us understand in another way what your technical capabilities are, as well as your leadership capabilities. A question that I get a lot is, should I get a recommendation from the best possible title? And title isn't going to matter as much to us. What we really want is a recommender who is close to you and who can speak intimately about your qualities and what you can bring to the program. Ideally, with these letters of recommendation, it would be a mix between academic and professional, again, so that we can get to know both sides of you. If you're an undergrad, though, and you don't really have professional references, or vice versa, if you've been in the professional world for a while and don't have academic references, that's okay. It can come from one or the other, but try your hardest to have those really customized and still address both your technical and leadership capabilities. Nextly, I'll go over our essays that we require with the application. The first would be your statement of purpose. So this is really supposed to illustrate why you're interested in the MEng program specifically. How does the program combine with your past experiences, with your education, and how is it going to help you meet your goals? We want to hear what you're going to get out of the MEng program and how you're going to use this new degree to further your career. Next would be the personal statement. This is a little bit more of a closer look at you, maybe achievements you've had, adversity that you've had to overcome. Maybe if you're a first-generation student, if you're international, those sorts of things. These are great to really touch about here in the personal statement, again, so that we can get to know you as an applicant better. Next, we do require the GRE. This would be required for all applicants, and here are our averages, just a quick look. For the current cohort, they tend to test in the 70th percentile for verbal, 90th percentile for quantitative, and about 3.5 to 4 for that analytical writing portion. And then for TOEFL, if you did not go to an English-speaking undergraduate institution, we do require that you take the TOEFL or the IELTS for English language proficiency. For the TOEFL, the 90 is the minimum. However, we really prefer to admit applicants who test in the 100 to 110 range or higher, just because, again, being able to communicate and work with a diverse cohort is going to be really important, and all of your classes will be taught in English. So that's a look at the application. I know a lot of the questions that I get in my day-to-day are, how do I put together this part of my application, or how does this look? And while I can't review everyone's application, I'm always happy to discuss in general terms the best ways and best strategies to put together your application. So we can go on to the next slide. Of course, students always want to know what is the MEng? What types of students are in the MEng program, and who am I going to be surrounded by during my year in the program? So these next couple of slides are a quick look at the MEng program and kind of our profile. So on this slide here, you can see what our breakdown is currently. So we have 366 full-time students, predominantly in electrical engineering, computer science, industrial engineering, and operations research, and mechanical engineering. But we do have a good group of people in our smaller departments as well, and they are growing, it seems. So that's our look at our MEng departments. We want to go on to that next slide. Here's, again, a little bit more of an easy to look at student profile. So we can't emphasize enough that our goal with the Master of Engineering program, as compared to maybe other programs, is really building the most diverse cohort possible, because learning from people and learning from your peers is so important. So we are very proud to have 6 US veterans in our class, as well as about 20% of our students who are coming to us after having professional work experience. We have very proud to have 31 countries represented, and of course that our female population in the MEng program is at about 33% and still growing. On average, our students are 23, so the big majority of our students are coming to us out of undergrad, but as you can see, that's definitely a sliding scale, and we have a lot of different ages represented with the MEng program. So we can move on to that next slide. Here's, again, just another look at our 31 countries that are represented. So really, when you're if and when you're in the MNG program, your peers are coming from so many different backgrounds, so many different cultures, and are really just a great place to learn from other people and really get an idea of the diversity that is the Master of Engineering program and Berkeley in general. So we can go on to that next slide. I went over this again, but of course, deadlines are so important when you're applying to graduate coursework. And since you're likely starting your research or finishing up your research, here's again another look at our deadlines. As a program within Berkeley's College of Engineering, our application does live within the graduate division. So that is all online at grad.berkeley.edu. It is closed currently, but if you wanted to, grad.berkeley.edu is a really great resource in terms of application, and also they have some good strategies online too. So again, applications are typically always due in early January. The exact date does fluctuate, so stay tuned for that for those of you applying to the 2019-2020 school year. Something that is a little bit different than the MEng program, which I don't know if we covered, is that our classes do start earlier than perhaps some of the other programs that you're applying to. So keep in mind that we have those pre-semester boot camp classes that do begin in early August. So I've seen some people who come and ask, I'm not going to finish my undergraduate degree until September. Is this still okay? And unfortunately, you would have to make sure that you are looking at the calendar and understanding that the requirement for the program does start in August. And we're a quick program. We're nine months. So just something else to keep in mind. If we want to go on to that next slide.